We just flew with our new baby for the first time ever, and I must say it went flawless, except for one major thing. But the reason it went so well was because we were fully prepared. So we're going to share with you all the necessary things that we did to get ready to fly with our little guy, and the one thing that we did that we will never ever do again. If you're new here, I'm Evan Reinheimer, and I'm an artist. I travel around the world and take unique aerial photographs using a kite to lift my camera up into the sky. And this is my beautiful wife, Katie, and our 6-month-old baby, Milo. I travel a lot, and we'd really love to take Milo with us on our travels, so we were really hoping that we'd have a baby who travels well. And thanks to our careful planning and preparation, he's off to a really great start. Okay, so last week I had an art show booked in the Hamptons in New York. And since it was the 4th of July weekend, we thought it would be a really good opportunity to bring Milo up to meet some more of his family members who live in New York and to see where we grew up. It was really great for me too, because I've cut back on a lot of the art shows that I've been doing lately in order to spend more time at home with Katie and Milo. It was really great to be able to bring them with me on a show trip like this. Milo is a pretty chill baby in general, and we had a feeling he would be okay flying. But like doing anything new with a baby, you never really know. So we wanted to make sure that we were fully prepared for this trip so that he could be as comfortable as possible without going overboard and totally bogging ourselves down with unnecessary stuff.
I think one of my biggest concerns was that Milo was going to be comfortable on the plane, but also I had visions of me walking onto the plane with the baby, with the diaper bag, and just a ton of stuff in tow.
So we'll tell you about all of the items that we got that helped us on this trip and the things we used. And I'm gonna put a link to all of these in the description of the video so that you can get them directly if any of these would be helpful for you. Katie packed all of her stuff and all of Milo's stuff into one single suitcase. Tell us about how you did that.
Packing cubes. Babies have tiny little articles of clothing. Also, I wear a lot of dark clothing, so his stuff's just gonna get lost in a sea of dark clothing. So basically I would put my stuff in 1 or 2 of the larger packing cubes and Milo's in the mediums. And then I have a smaller one with his sleep stuff, and then I had an even smaller one with like bath time stuff, bottle washing stuff, pee pads. And I can't say how valuable these things are now. I won't go anywhere without them. They're amazing.
So then once we got to the airport, I did like every good dad does, and I dropped everyone off at the curb, and then I went to go park the car. Thankfully, we had Katie's mom traveling with us to give us an extra set of hands on this trip, which was super helpful.
We got an infant seat travel bag.
It's like a big sack that just kind of the car seat and the base fit into and has a drawstring on it. And this was a pretty inexpensive one and kind of a cheaply made one, but it held up fine for our use.
So as soon as Evan dropped us off, we went inside. I packed up the infant seat with the car base, cleaned that up, ended up having to change Milo's diaper, of course, because he pooped on the way to the airport, just par for the course.
And there he is in the background. Don't embarrass me like that.
There he goes.
So for this trip, we chose to fly with Milo as a lap infant. He's still really good in our laps, and I know that it's generally considered safer to even have an infant in their own seat, in a car seat on the airplane. But we chose to have him as a lap infant on this trip, and it really did work out very well. My sister, who had a baby a year before us, has flown with her baby several times as a lap infant and does really well that way. So being a lap infant and wanting to keep the baby entertained, we brought some things on the airplane that we thought would be useful in keeping him comfortable and entertained for the flight.
One of my favorite items that I ended up bringing with us, it's called a rocket. And what it does is anything that you attach it on, it comes with like a little bracket, it rocks it.
It just kind of shakes back and forth like this. So whatever it's attached to or whatever you put it in, it's going to rock it, hence the name Rocket.
This thing rules. So then we talk about plane preparation with toys. Keep him entertained as best as possible with as little stuff as possible.
And show the entire, everything that we brought for him, all his toys, fit in this like oversized Ziploc. It actually would have fit in an even smaller bag than this.
Yep. So biggest thing, get on an airplane. Airplanes are dirty. So cleanliness. I mean, even before I had a baby, I was always wiping down trays and seats. Even pre-COVID, always wiping down trays and seats. So babies touch everything. So I wiped the window and even the wall around the window because he was just everywhere. So these Can't go anywhere without these. So the other thing is this little banana chew toy. This was actually recommended by my sister. She has a daughter and absolutely loved this thing. It's got like a little toothbrush at the end. So this is endless entertainment, and it's also a little suction too. So it can kind of stick on the tray table. And then the next thing was Crunchy Book. So this kid loves crunchy things. Right here. Endless entertainment.
This is the noise you've probably heard in the background throughout this video because Milo is just sitting off screen here and he's been playing with another Crunchy Book he has. He loves these Crunchy Books.
Yeah, so we have a few of these. He loves them. I like this because it has like little rings on the end and little chewy things and like a little mirror. It's made by a brand called Sassy. They make a lot of cute little items. The other thing that I had ordered, you talk about being sanitary and the dirty floor. Obviously can't clean the plane floor. So my concern is he likes to throw things. It's gonna fall on the floor. So the other thing that I brought with us were these little silicone straps, I guess you would call, and they have clips on each end. They come in a 3-pack. They're really cool, and they're, just throw them in the dishwasher. Babies can chew on it, and they're perfectly safe. They have
It's like a little tether.
Yeah, it's a little tether, basically. So I hooked one end to the book and then one end to the tray table, so he was able to play with it, and anytime he threw it, it wouldn't go very far. It wouldn't even hit the ground. And then there's even one that fits around a bottle. So if the baby's having a bottle on the plane, you can also tether it, and it's not gonna fall on the floor and get dirty. So these things are great. I use them at home even. Hook them to the stroller if you're out. Things are not gonna go very far when they throw them. Must have for babies, a definite. Next item, these were a hit. They come in a 3-pack, and I definitely fell victim to the TikTok trend of these.
This was the biggest hit for Milo
Yeah.
on the entire trip.
Yeah, he absolutely loved these. These are little spinners, and they're great because you can hook them to the window.
There's a suction cup on the back.
Yes.
Did you say that?
No. So they're really fun to look at in the window, especially with the light coming through. It's really cool. And then they also have these little, the ends of them pop. So it's almost like a fidget popper, I guess you would call them. They're really fun, and he absolutely loved these. So these were really cool. So definitely that. And then blanket. I have these really lightweight, especially because we live in Florida. They're a real lightweight material.
It's some kind of cotton, but it's a super, it's hard to see in the video, but it's a super thin, lightweight blanket. If he needs a light blanket, it can be like a thin, single layer light blanket. And if he needs more warmth, you can wrap him in this, and it doesn't take up any room. It crunches down to nothing.
Other thing that's great, white noise machines. These are great. I take these everywhere. I actually have 2 of them. I have one on his stroller, one on his car seat. They're rechargeable. They have different levels of loudness. We ended up not needing it on the plane because the plane is a white noise tube in itself, so he was fine, but they're great even in the airport when he was taking a nap. And then you just turn it on. Awesome. And these are super lightweight also, so they're very easy to travel with. One of the other concerns with traveling with Milo for the first time, I was concerned about his ears with the pressure in the plane. So I packed 2 types of bottles. I packed a full serving bottle and then also a bottle that was like a 2-ouncer that, was like a snack for him.
When we got to the runway, as soon as the plane started rolling forward, we gave him the bottle, and we also used the number 1 bottle nipple on the top, which is the slowest flow bottle topper, so that it would take more effort for him to suck in the formula, and we thought that would be better for his ears. It would also take him longer to drink that bottle, so as we were ascending up into the sky, he would continually drink, and hopefully that would keep his ears from bothering him. And then as we were descending into New York, it wasn't quite bottle time for him yet, and to kind of do a little bit of an experiment, we just gave him his normal pacifier to suck on as the plane went down, and he made a little bit of a concerned face on the way down, but nothing major, and didn't seem to really be bothered by it, so thankfully for us, his ears weren't really an issue on the flight. But we were ready for it with the bottle and the pacifier just in case.
So all in all, he was really great on the flight.
He was perfect. Can you think of any area that he could have improved in?
No, he was like a total champion. The people behind us were like, he didn't make a peep. The flight attendants said he was great. And honestly, my biggest concern were his ears, but also being that person with a screaming baby on a flight. But honestly, babies deserve to be on that plane just like everybody else. And babies are gonna cry. And I have to remember even when I was on a plane and babies would get upset, I had headphones. I could listen to my music and things. So getting over that anxiety, I think, because I think that's where I was nervous, is that he was going to disturb other people. So, but honestly, he was so great. He got smiles from everybody, and he was like Mr. Entertainer on the flight. Some little girl even was sharing stickers with him, because there was a little girl sitting in front of us, and she was passing little stickers to him throughout the flight. So that was really cute. So it was a good experience, and he's a good flyer. And you know, his dad kept telling him, this is a test, that if you're going to be allowed to travel with us in the future, and I think he passed.
And I did. I kept telling him in the weeks leading up to this flight that there's a lot of opportunity for him to get to go around the world with us and see a lot of new places if he's good. And if he's not a good flyer, then he gets to stay home with Grandma and Grandpa. So it's just me now. Milo was starting to freak out a little bit, so Katie took him for a walk in the park and then maybe to sit in the car with some air conditioning here. But I wanted to talk to you about the one big thing that went really wrong for us on this trip. So as frequent flyers, we really should have known better. We ended up booking our flight with Frontier Airlines, which was a huge mistake for a reason that I'm going to share with you in just a moment. But there was a reason that we chose Frontier over a real airline. You see, Frontier flies directly into a small airport out on Long Island, and we thought that with the baby, that would be a really good option for us instead of flying into JFK or LaGuardia Airport, which are much closer to New York City, and then having to take a train or something out to Long Island. And in that respect, things worked out well for us. It wasn't even that we were tricked by Frontier's low prices or anything. We knew it was going to cost us just as much, if not more, to fly on Frontier once we were done adding bags and all the stupid little add-on charges they have. But anyway, for that convenience, we chose Frontier, unfortunately. And even though we were flying with an infant under the age of 1 year old, at check-in, they didn't assign us seats that were anywhere near each other on the airplane. And this caused a lot of stress and anxiety, especially for Katie. She had trouble sleeping the night before the flight because she thought that they weren't going to be able to seat us together, and I kept reassuring her that, of course they will. They're not going to separate parents of a lap infant on an airplane. It doesn't even make sense. And I actually checked their website, and Frontier has a policy that if you're flying with someone under the age of 13, they will seat your entire party together. However, we learned an important lesson. That does not apply to lap infants. And this made no sense to me. It made me very disappointed in Frontier Airlines, and they forced us to pay almost $80 to move our seats so that we could sit together on the airplane. And it's not about the money, it's a stupid, bad policy. You wouldn't want to sit a parent alone with a baby when you could have two parents with that baby to be able to take care of them. It's just the whole concept of doing that with a lap infant ticket really bothered me. So for that reason, we will not be flying Frontier Airlines with Milo ever again. But as for Milo himself, he was such a good traveler, and that's really great because we're going to be flying with him 6 times this month alone. And we hope to have many more trips together with him in his lifetime, so please subscribe to the channel here to see more of this cool little guy. And if you want to see how my art show in the Hamptons went, go watch this video right now.